Battleground is this Sunday, and a lot is going to go on because of the draft. I wanted to wait before everything. First, because I was on vacation for a while. Secondly, because the draft could have changed a lot, and in a way it did for some matches, but some matches it didn't. So it really depends on what's going to happen in the draft, because that way, we could have seen, for example, well, we didn't. We didn't see some titles have the possibility of being cross-branded in this pay-per-view. They might be later on, but we don't know anything about, for example, the WWE title status. We don't know if that's going to be a like an undisputed title, to where it's being on Raw and SmackDown. We don't know that yet. We don't know about the same for the Women's Championship, for the tag titles. We do know about the Intercontinental in the U.S., but we don't know much about the others. But first off, let's just go for that draft. We'll do the matches, and the matches kind of speak for the draft for itself. Because first off, we have an technically an all Raw match, but we don't know exactly if it's going to be an all Raw match. As Raw's Sasha Banks will team with a mystery partner to face the Women's Champion and Raw's Charlotte. And I believe Raw's Dana Brooke. I just want to make sure on that. Yeah, Dana Brooke was drafted in the last round on Raw. I like how they say Heath Slater was the only one not drafted last night. It was fucking hilarious. So where's he going to go on Sunday? That's something to talk about. Where's Slater going to go? Besides injured people, he's the only one not drafted. So that's something to talk about there. But for as far as this match goes, I think WWE played their hand a little bit, because people have thought, oh, it's maybe Bayley or Sasha Banks or something. Not necessarily. It could be Alexa Bliss, for who's on SmackDown. It could be Nia Jax, who's on Raw. It could be anyone, really. I mean, anyone on the roster. We don't know who that match is, and the match really depends on who that partner is. We don't know who that is, so I can't really say anything about it. But if it's Nia Jax, for example, let's just throw some things out there. If it's Nia Jax, chances are Sasha and Nia will win, because Nia is a fucking powerhouse, is a fucking beast of a woman. It is crazy seeing how big this woman is, not just figuratively but literally. I mean, it's unbelievable how powerful this woman is. If it's Alexa Bliss, it could go either way. If it's Carmella, who was drafted to SmackDown, it could go either way. Hopefully it's not Eva Marie. I hope not, but we don't know who it is, so it depends on who the person is. Regardless, this feud with Sasha and Charlotte will probably go into SummerSlam. See what happens from there. Next up, the Wyatt family versus the New Day. Now, the New Day are all on Raw. And by the way, this is a six-man tag, so the tag titles will not be on the line on this match. But it's interesting because the Wyatts are somewhat broken up in a way. Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan are on SmackDown, and Braun Strowman is on Raw. So this will be the last time we see the Wyatts in this capacity as a group. We don't know about Luke Harper because he's injured. He wasn't eligible for the draft, so we don't know what's going to go with that. But once he comes back, we'll see what happens. Probably have him team up with Braun Strowman or something like that on Raw, or be with the Wyatts again on SmackDown. But with that being said, I want to talk really quickly about the compound match. It wasn't really a match, it was just a compound. For those who don't know, the compound was taken from the Final Deletion, which was probably the best thing TNA has done in a long time. I mean, it was fucking great. Everything about it was fucking great. And you don't really see me praise TNA a lot, but that was probably the best thing that could have happened to it, was the Final Deletion, because you see WWE take out this compound. It was pretty much the same kind of style. Not as much camera cuts as the Final Deletion, but they were still kind of there. With that being said, though, I feel like the New Day could win this match. I don't know. You could have the Wyatts have one final big win as a team, and say you could have the titles be cross-branded at that point. because you could say, oh, Strowman and someone wants a title shot because they beat the New Day. Strowman and Harper, maybe, if once Harper comes back. Or Rowan and Wyatt want the title shot because they came back and they won the match. We don't know what's going to happen there, but I want to say New Day wins to stay strong, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Wyatts win. Next off, the highlight reel with Randy Orton. For those who don't know, Orton is going to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, but we don't know much about that because of Lesnar's potential doping calls by the USADA and the UFC. We don't know about that yet, what the charges will be or stuff like that, but we do know that Chris Jericho is on Raw. Randy Orton, I believe, is on SmackDown. Yes, he's on SmackDown. So it's kind of a cross-branded talk show at this point. Not really a match. It's just we're gonna see what interesting happens from there. We could have Brock come back because Brock's on Raw now. We don't know for sure. Next up, the United States Championship, and I want to say this might be the only match where the titles could be potentially on both brands. I want to say that. I want to make sure on that because let's see, where's Zack Ryder? Because Mojo Rawley's on SmackDown. Where is Ryder on this list? Yeah, Ryder's on SmackDown. And Rusev and Lana are on Raw. So there could be a potential of this title going to SmackDown. With that being said, though, I doubt it'll happen. I doubt it will really happen because you need to have one of these mid-card titles on each brand to have it be successful. To have it be, oh, you're the United States champion, for example. You could be the next in line for the world title. You're the Intercontinental champion. You could be the next in line for the WWE title if they bring the world title back, if they separate those belts. Or, like I said, the title could be cross-branded. It could be whatever. So there could be a chance that both mid-card belts are on the same show, but I highly doubt it. I don't think Rusev will lose to Ryder. It's weird because Ryder does deserve a title reign after WrestleMania, but I don't think it'll happen here. Next up, an all SmackDown match. No, I'm wrong. Excuse me, I am wrong again because Bob Backlund and Darren Young are on Raw. And The Miz and Maurice are on SmackDown. So they got a title on the line. We could have a potential title swap here. You know, now that I think about it, we could have the U.S. title on SmackDown and the Intercontinental title on Raw. We could have that. Darren Young has been made great again by Bob Backlund for a long time. And the last time I saw Bob Backlund personally, I talked to him at the Hall of Fame before this encounter. I was just wondering what was going on. He said he was going to have like some kind of podcast in mind or something. But in reality, he's making Darren Young great again. I don't understand. You know, it's this whole Donald Trump kind of storyline for him. It's very weird. It's very awkward at first, but they made it work. Darren Young won a Battle Royal to become the number one contender for the Intercontinental title, and it's interesting to see what happens from there. But you know, honestly, I feel like Darren Young will win it because Miz had the title for a long time, and it makes sense for it to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with the brand, though. We don't know what's going to happen with that, and with that, we'll just skip the next part and see what happens from there because there's a lot more matches to go through here.